Bob, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ed.
I want to talk about your evaluation last night. I talked to Scott Harrison just a little while ago. You got proficient ratings.
I did. It was great. I've been on the receiving end of many reports in the school committee and some sharp criticism in the past. And last night was humbling in many ways. It was a very good report card.
How have you improved?
Well, I think anytime you're in the role of any job over time, you sort of learn the ropes. So a lot of it is on the job training. You can't learn everything in school before you get into the role. And but for me, I've learned to self-reflect. I've learned to take criticism as constructive and not take it personally.
Is that difficult at times? Because you know in your heart you're doing a good job. To be criticized or to be questioned maybe is difficult for all of us.
It is, but I think of it this way. You have an independently elected board of 7 members, most of whom, although it's different this year with Jen Parson, who's got an education background as a school leader, who may not know beyond going to school themselves, may not know the business of public education, of being in private sector. So I have to view that, and it's my role to educate the school committee about what kinds of things matter in public education. And so a reflection for me is to say, can I do a better job educating and communicating with the members of the school committee around a subject that they don't have particular expertise in? That would then frame the context for me to make a case for a budgetary need or something, because they're going to get the political pressures. They're going to get the phone calls from parents who are going to complain. If I don't give them the backdrop to understand what the parents are complaining about, then it sets us up to not be successful. So that's a big reflection for me over the last 8 years.
Always room for improvement?
Always, and I mentioned last night at the meeting as well. Although it's sometimes it's harder to get a good report card. If you're a kid in school and you get straight A's, which honestly, I would equate last night to that kind of report card, perfectly honest with you. Because proficiency is the target objective.
Was it better than you thought it was going to be?
Well, I guess in some areas, yes, because I know there's been some questions about my communication, but yet from some of the members came out as being exemplary in those areas, but it averaged out to proficient. So we ask our teachers to strive to be proficient. That's really in fact, on the Department of Education's form, the proficient category of the 4 categories is actually bold-faced and grade to suggest that this is where you want to be. So there were some areas that are exemplary. There were no areas reported last night of needs improvement, so it was proficient down the board. But the point I was making earlier, if you're a student, if my kids came home with a straight A report card, and that would be great if they did, but what's hard is to maintain that. So the challenge there is that when you
important point,
right? There's always room to grow, but when now the expectations have changed. The line in the sand now has been redrawn to say this is now your standard. So you have to go up from here. But there's so many challenges to the job, and there's so many goals that have been set for this work. There's just there's plenty of room for continued growth in the district.
Just quickly, fairly good MCAS scores.
Yeah, some good improvements in our ELA, particularly the growth of our English language learners, which is a challenge for us in Milford. But overall, we have work to do there, but we're doing well.
Amy, you're up.
Oh, hello.
Good morning. Homecoming weekend coming up later on this month. Bob, how did she get involved?
Well, last year we had our first. It was one of the goals of last year was to have an alumni office. Has been a goal for the last few years, and part of the alumni office is to bring a homecoming event back to Milford. Milford had, as Amy will tell you, had a rich history of its homecoming back in the day. The bonfire, the parade floats, all of that. And that went away over time. We tried to bring that back. It started a few years back with then the athletic boosters group. I think it was Tim Corcoran tried to bring back the bonfire, and then that kind of went away for whatever reason. So last year we tried to have an event to bring alumni back, and Amy came wearing her her leather jacket from high school and pom-pom, the whole 9 yards. So it was like we had taken a step back in time. So when I saw that energy, I said, Amy, would you consider taking this on? You know all the players in town. You're from Milford. You know how homecoming used to be. And can you put this together? And so she's taken the lead on this. We've had, I don't know how many meetings they've already had, opened her home to have those meetings, and has really driven this to where we're going to be headed in a couple of weeks.
Tell me about where, when, and the aspects of it. This is a big undertaking, I would think.
It is, but I have a great committee, and we're off to a wonderful start. So First, I'd just like to welcome anyone and everyone to this Milford Scarlet Hawks homecoming. I know in the past, Bob had mentioned we reached out to alumni, and we absolutely would love the alumni to attend. However, it is a community event, so we want parents, grandparents, families,
future alumni,
community members,
Right.
absolutely, and the students. There's also the misconception that homecoming is for the adults. However, that's not the case.
Yep.
What we have done is we've kind of made a joint venture. I've also met with a lot of the leadership kids in town, whether it be captains, class officers, and met with Mr. and Mrs. Ryan, who are the leaders for the student leadership group, so all those children. And we've really stressed to them that this is also for them. It's everyone. It's the students, it's the adults. So the children have a spirit week leading up to Oktoberfest.
To get them ready, yeah.
Oktoberfest is Saturday, October 25th. It will be located in the parking lot next to the tennis courts in front of
You
the
said Oktoberfest, you mean homecoming?
homecoming.
Okay.
Is Saturday, October 25th.
Okay.
From 1 to 4. It will be in the parking lot next to the tennis courts and in front of the softball field. From 1 to 4, we will have Carla Tuttle, Oliva, having a barbecue tailgate, and then the football game is at 4 p.m. Tickets are $20 for adults, and for the adults, that includes the barbecue, the admission to the varsity game, and also a reception at the Marcagiano Club at night when the students will be going to the harvest dance. Students, however, are also welcome. Their tickets are $10, which will get them the barbecue and admission into the football game.
So this really gets everyone involved.
It
That's
does.
our point.
Amy had a great vision of that because we
Yeah.
put it together as an alumni office function.
Yep.
It came across as, well, maybe some parents wouldn't come because they're not alumni, or the wives of husbands or the husbands of wives or whatever it may be didn't come because it was almost targeted too much to an alumni effort. So this is now a family effort. We want everyone to come out to the event and really celebrate with us. We have a beautiful athletic complex, we have a beautiful
it's
track,
beautiful.
beautiful football field, softball field, concession stand. Just something to really be celebrated. So we encourage everyone to come out.
It's almost like a college area now up there.
It really, really is. It really is up there.
Now, what happens at the Marcagiano Club that night?
That is for 21 and older only, obviously. It is, there'll be food, raffles, and a cash bar.
Pretty cool.
So it should be a lot of fun.
And the football game is what, around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2
4
o'clock?
o'clock.
4
Actually,
o'clock.
4
o'clock.
o'clock. So after the game, then the kids can go to
That's
the
pretty
harvest
cool.
dance. The adults can go off to the Marcagiano Club.
And you've got the Olivas coming for the food, of course. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can't have a tailgate in Milford without the Olivas.
You're looking for what kind of crowd? How many people? Are really as many as you could possibly get?
Absolutely. We have all the room, everyone and anyone. We'd love to see this over the years build up to hundreds of people.
Sure.
And we're actually in the process of selling the bracelets now. They had an idea, that the committee had an idea of it says Scarlet Hawks. It's a rubber band type bracelet.
Yep.
And so the kids in the student council are selling these at lunchtime. So kids can have, and then that's their pass. They buy this wristband, and that gets them the meal, gets them access to the game, and all of that. So it's really, the best thing about my job is you can start it with an idea, hand it off to somebody who can then take it to the next level.
You need
and,
somebody.
and refine it. And Amy's done that job.
Well, like you said, Amy had the energy. You saw it off the bat.
Absolutely.
And-
I knew from the minute I saw her in the letter jacket, I knew it was going to be a win.
And this is something, like you said, that could go on for years to come.
We're
And-
hoping,
and
yes, that this is a new tradition.
I think what you're going to see eventually is, if you haven't already, is see people come in from out of the area specifically for this event.
That would be
That's
wonderful,
what we're
too.
hoping. And we are going to have an alumni tent now instead of it being an alumni focus.
Nice.
So I'll be at the alumni tent. We'll sign alumni up, and then we can hopefully grow this to have other programs for alumni throughout the year as well. But homecoming being a real sort of family focused on bringing everybody back to celebrate Milford High School and the Scarlet Hawks.
Yeah.
Along with the students, and I do want to mention that the National Honor Society students are hosting a beanbag tournament that day. So
Okay.
the students can sign up, get teams and sign up during lunch prior to. So that'll be going on for the students during the tailgate prior to the game.
And you wanted to mention a couple of other things that are going on, too.
If I could. I'd also like to invite anyone in the community tomorrow at Pheno Field from 12 to 6. Boosters is hosting an October Beanbag tournament. So come on down, 12 to 6. That is 21 and older, as there will be a beer tent. So that is just for the adults to raise money for the kids and the sports and all that wonderful stuff. I would also like to have people in the community save the date for the night before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
The Milford Gridiron Club, which was formerly known as the Friends of Milford Football.
Okay.
They've more formally organized a gridiron club, as there are many gridiron clubs in the area. So they're hosting, which they have done in the past, but at the Hoboken Club. This year it's going to be at the Crystal Room, the night before Thanksgiving, 7 p.m. start. We're encouraging spouses and wives and all that also. I know typically in the past it was mostly a lot of the football players, the guys getting together, but we really want to broaden that spectrum also, and there'll be more details on that to follow.
I think what's interesting about all of this is it's geared for the whole community,
That's
Exactly.
which is nice.
And Milford does that well, I think.
Oh, they do that very well.
They really do.
Yeah. Hey, guys, thanks very much.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us.
having us, Ed, this
Our
morning.
guest this morning, Milford School Superintendent Dr. Bob Tremblay and Amy Tamagni, talking about the upcoming homecoming weekend. We'll tell you more about it as it gets closer.